Nobody's talking about how quickly the New Orleans Saints are transforming right in front of us. This isn't your average rebuild. It's a full-on shakeup with veteran icons walking away, rookies stepping into the spotlight, and a brand new head coach ripping out the old system and installing a machine built for speed. The emotional exits of Tyrann Mathieu and Jimmy Graham weren't just retirements, they were signals. The Saints are turning the page, and the opening chapters of this new era are being written faster than anyone expected. Behind it all is Kellen Moore, a head coach who's not easing into the job. He's attacking it. His practices are short but ruthless. He's squeezing every rep out of every minute, demanding tempo, precision, and accountability. Already, this team has racked up more offensive reps in 2 days than most squads get in a week. And the message is clear. If you're not ready to compete now, you're getting left behind. Rookies, veterans, it doesn't matter. The Saints are no longer waiting on potential. They're building a roster that fits a vision, and every move tells us the clock is ticking louder than ever. But here's the twist. While the culture shift is loud, the offense itself started quietly, and maybe that's a bigger story than anyone realizes. Quarterbacks missed timing, false starts piled up, and while a few bright spots lit up the red zone, consistency is still out of reach. So the real question isn't just whether this new offense can work, it's how long before it finally clicks. And if it doesn't, what happens to the guys driving it? Let's talk about the players carrying the weight of this new system, and the ones already showing signs of cracking. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Saints and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 400 likes on this video. Nobody expected the Saints offense to struggle this early, but that's exactly what happened. The installs are fast, the tempo is relentless, and for some players, the pressure is already showing. False starts broke the rhythm, drives stalled in red zone sets, and while the structure is there, the execution is still trying to catch up. Kellen Moore's system is built on speed and decision-making, but when the timing is even a second off, it unravels fast. And that's exactly what we saw during day 2. Clean reps turned into missed throws. Opportunities slipped through fingertips. And despite a few standout plays, there's no escaping the truth. This offense isn't clicking yet. But that doesn't mean it's all bad. Tyler Shough, the rookie quarterback out of Louisville, connected with Rashid Shaheed for 2 red zone touchdowns. And those weren't flukes. You could see the off-season chemistry between them, the footwork, the timing, the trust. Even when Shough had to throw the ball away under pressure, it wasn't panic, it was control. He ended the day 6 of 1-0, but 2 of those incompletions were smart throwaways to avoid negative plays. That's a trait you can build around. Meanwhile, Spencer Rattler had his flashes too, especially with Chris Olave. But his interception on a floating pass showed the margin for error in this system is razor thin. The offense doesn't need to be perfect right now, but it needs to respond. That's what Moore is watching for. Not just completions or stats, but reactions. Can these players adjust mid-practice? Can they pick themselves up after a misread or misblock? Because this isn't about being the flashiest guy on day 1. It's about surviving this tempo long enough to become the one Kellen Moore trusts. And right now, the guy who's pulling ahead may not be who you think. Let's break down the quarterback rotation that's already sparking internal debates across the building. The Saints' quarterback race is tighter than anyone expected, and it's already shifting faster than predicted. Spencer Rattler took the early spotlight with first-team reps on day 1, but Tyler Shough answered right back when his turn came. This isn't a scripted rotation, it's a real competition. Rattler showed good touch and timing early on, but it was Shough, the rookie out of Louisville, who delivered the sharper red zone execution when it mattered most. 2 touchdown passes to Rashid Shaheed might not seal anything, but they left an impression. And when both quarterbacks face the same pressure, how they respond tells a deeper story. Mistakes are inevitable, but Moore made one thing clear from the start. He's not grading throws, he's grading reactions. That's what made Rattler's day 2 so important. After a misjudged pass was picked off by Quincy Riley, Rattler didn't fold. He ran it in on the next series, not in 7-on-7, but during full team drills, with defenders closing fast. That's the kind of poise you can't coach. Meanwhile, Shough played it safe when needed, tossing throwaways when routes collapsed, and avoiding unnecessary risks. It might not look flashy on a stat sheet, but Moore sees that as growth, not hesitation. What's unknown now is how long this rotation lasts. Jake Haener is next in line for first-team reps, and Kellen Moore isn't tipping his hand yet. Every snap, every read, every audible, they all matter now. And the longer this stays open, the more pressure builds. Because there's no clear favorite yet, There's no guaranteed starter, and if one of these quarterbacks stumbles in the next phase, they might not get another chance. But the biggest shift in camp didn't happen under center. It happened on the other side of the ball, where a rookie just made the loudest statement of anyone. The pressure finally boiled over, and it wasn't a quiet moment. It was loud, emotional, and right in the middle of team drills. Veteran wide receiver Brandon Cooks squared off with cornerback Rejjon Wright, and within seconds, the entire defense was in the mix. Alontae Taylor, always vocal and always intense, sprinted into the chaos to pull teammates apart. It didn't last long, just a flash of fire, but it revealed something you can't measure in stats. This team isn't just practicing hard. They're playing like everything's on the line. And for a franchise trying to build a new culture, that kind of fire might matter more than any touchdown in July. The fight wasn't random. It came after a string of high-intensity reps where the defense had been owning the day. The offense was frustrated. Timing was off. Tempers were rising. But the spark that set it off wasn't about poor execution. It was about pride. Cooks wasn't going to let the defense dominate without a response, and Wright wasn't backing down either. This wasn't dysfunction. It was a challenge, and for a team still searching for its new voice, moments like this often lead to defining chemistry. No coaches pulled players out. No one was punished. Because they knew this is part of the process. But here's where it gets more interesting. While the veterans were in the spotlight during the scuffle, it was a rookie, calm, quiet, focused, who was making the most noise with his play. Quincy Riley didn't throw a punch. He didn't raise his voice. But he made the kind of impact that stops practices and starts conversations. And if you haven't heard his name yet, that's about to change in a big way. Because this rookie didn't just show up, he took over. Quincy Riley didn't wait for an invitation. He kicked down the door and announced himself as the rookie nobody wants to throw at. On just his second full day of training camp, Riley picked off Spencer Rattler in a red zone drill and locked up some of the Saints' best receivers, including Chris Olave. What makes it even more impressive is how fast he caught up. After missing much of the offseason with a procedure, Riley had limited reps during minicamp. But once pads came on, he didn't just look comfortable, he looked dangerous. The moment the ball came his way, he turned from coverage man to ball hawk instantly. This isn't a random flash either. Riley entered the league with more interceptions than any cornerback in his draft class, 15 in total. His tape from Louisville and Middle Tennessee is filled with plays where he takes away an entire side of the field. And now, in just 2 days of live action, quarterbacks are already hesitating to target him. After that interception on Rattler, he wasn't tested again. Not because the offense forgot about him, but because he erased his side of the field. That's not normal for a rookie. That's elite instinct, matched with immediate production. The real question now is whether Riley will jump from second-team reps to starting opposite Kool-Aid McKinstry. Isaac Yiadom has the experience, but Riley is gaining momentum fast. Coaches aren't saying much publicly, but teammates are noticing. And with every snap, Riley's case gets stronger. But his rise is just one piece of a bigger story. Because while he's locking down the outside, there's a growing storm forming in the middle of the defense, and it's coming from players who are already starting to impose their will. Let's head into the heart of that pressure. The Saints' defense is surging with a new level of intensity, dominating early in training camp with standout performances from Chase Young, Chris Rumph, Demario Davis, and Brian Bresee. More impressive than the individual plays is the unit's growing chemistry, as defenders consistently make synchronized pre-snap reads and execute with precision, a clear sign of trust in Brandon Staley's system. With players like Alontae Taylor now being tested in hybrid roles beyond cornerback, the Saints are experimenting with a flexible, evolving scheme that could reshape their defensive identity. As veterans lead and younger players flash, the unit looks sharper than ever, and position battles are beginning to intensify behind the scenes. Drop your picks in the comments, especially your prediction for the starting quarterback. Will it be Rattler Shuck or a surprise name? Hit that subscribe button for daily camp updates. And if you're riding with the new era of Saints football, make sure you don't miss what's coming next. Let's see who survives the storm.